Hello, everyone. It's Friday here, and well, in some wiser cultures than the Czech one, Friday afternoon is a party time. So that's the reason why we have again the background with a big party. Well, actually, this wise culture is Dutch. They have something called Vrijmibo. I think it's Vrijdagmiddagborrel, if I'm not mistaken. And they just celebrate the end of the week and have fun with their friends. So I thought I'm going to celebrate the end of this week by recording a new video and then celebrating with my friends. So what I'm going to talk about today, number one, since the interview with Katka, we have had so many ideas what we could talk about and how we could help other people to improve or equip themselves with skills and knowledge that are important for successful research career, because she is researcher and I have always worked as someone who supported researchers, who tried to equip researchers with these so-called transferable or soft skills. So yeah, we now keep on, preparing all kind of different lines of videos we could prepare for the future. But I thought, okay, before I get mad from all the ideas we have and before I stop producing my things, I just want to focus on core that is in the center why I started this channel after all. As I said, I have been working as a consultant for international research projects for 20 years. I have a lot of experience. Well, I have some knowledge. And I really, really was always driven by my passion to help early stage researchers. It was always wonderful to see that you have some knowledge or skills that you can provide younger people with and help them to move their careers further. So this was my big why. And when I started this channel, as I told you, it was a kind of compromise on how to deliver outputs from my previous project. So now when I'm already running this YouTube channel without any financial support, suddenly I see a new potential of it. And I think, wow, I have a tool which is for free. I have no money, which is wonderful. I need tools which are for free. And at the same time, well, I don't need also money to hire a lot of people because I have a lot of knowledge which I still can share for free. And I have lots of colleagues and I have a huge network of amazing people I have met during my career. And all these people whom I have approached so far and asked them if they would like to share their own experience, they were so wonderful that they agreed. So I thought, okay, let's go on and let's try it. So probably, well, at least for a while before I will sort out what I'm going to do in future, I'm going on with this sharing of experience and with using this YouTube channel to, to talk more about project management and to show you by kind of hands-on activity, because you and me at the same time are next to you in front of the screen, I'm in front of the camera, but we both are involved in this project. So I'm going in the future to explain lots of concepts related to project management also on my YouTube videos so that you can understand them better. Plus, after the interview with Katka, it was absolutely amazing because I could see again that many, how to say, well, things that I do kind of naturally because I was trained in technology, textile technology, and business economy. So I have this kind of logical thinking about arranging things and some tools that are really natural to me and help me to think and process my thinking towards objectives were quite new for Katka. So she is my kind of, well, experimental researcher, so that when we talk together, I can identify things that might be of value and I could talk about in future. So one of them, for example, was mind maps and how to use them when you need to arrange your thoughts. So again, a topic for some of the future videos. And again, as I said at the very beginning, I am more fond of shorter videos. So unlike my previous long 3.5 hours one on project management, which was more a training, this one is going to be, again, up to 20-25 minutes. So what I'm going to talk about today, well, actually, the reason why I decided that I'm going to make another video was an email. It started with an email this morning. I subscribed to a really interesting web page that talks about science in the society. And well, a couple of weeks ago, when I got an email from them, I thought, wow, this is interesting. And these are the moments that inspire me when I think about certain specific sections of projects. So that was the reason I thought, okay, let's start with talking about how to write your project, and let's introduce some basic concepts plus some practices you can introduce into your life in order to be equipped with relevant knowledge without too much effort when you need it. So I will share with you also some kind of good practice I did during my career as a consultant for international research projects, which you might include into your daily life and daily practices, and which are not going to take a lot of your time, but which are going to equip your brain, your subconscious part of your brain, with knowledge that will help you when you need it during your project proposal writing. So, well, talking about this, I thought I will start just with the PowerPoint I prepared a couple of weeks ago. And, you know, it was left behind because I still had idea how to improve it. And I thought, no, if I keep on working like this, I'm not going to move further. So I thought that I really need to make kind of shorter steps towards my objectives. So why I'm talking about this, you see how I'm planning project kind of online. So you see that instead of waiting for a long time for a perfect quality, I just take smaller steps towards something. At the moment, I'm not limited by any kind of public funding or any kind of project. So I also might be limited by my own tendency to be perfect. So I thought, okay, you want to deliver something. You remember probably if you watched my videos or my previous video, you could see that I talked about deliverables. So I'm going to repeat quite a lot of words and concepts today about which I might had been talking, oh, that's a tense, in my previous videos. So I will always, whenever I do something in the near future, I will try to refer also to the steps related to project management thinking, so that you get more used to it and it will be easier for you once you will start to write your own project proposals. So of course, I originally planned entirely different introduction to this video, but doesn't matter. Let's just go on. I want to keep it as natural as possible, just like if I went to a workshop or to a training, I always adjusted what I was talking about to my audience. But unfortunately, there is no audience at the moment, so I just have to adjust what I'm talking about to the recent state of my mind, and this is it. So let's go to the PowerPoint presentation I prepared for today. Let's share the screen if it is going to work. Yeah, wonderful, it works. And I will start directly with a reference to my previous video. So I think in the middle of it, if you managed to watch it, I talked about project management triangle. So these are limits that you have for your thinking when you plan your project. So as I said, I would like to use this YouTube channel as an example for project management thinking. So you might remember that I mentioned that at the moment there is no money available. So I know that I have very limited funds. It's just, you know, well, at the moment still my salary, but in the future I just won't be paid for this work at all. The next thing, well, in a way, I'm not that limited by time at the moment, but my limitation is in terms of time, kind of defined by the fact that I finished 2 months ago. There are still people who know about my activities. So I just would like smoothly to go further with providing support and help online. So I mustn't wait too long, because simply, you know, the communication activities always need to be alive. You keep, you know, it like with any kind of channel, if there is nothing, you just stop attending it. So this is the reason why, because I want to keep the interaction with my former colleagues and clients. So I just need to keep on providing. So this is my time limitation. And when it comes to scope and activities, I already told you, okay, you have no money, you have quite flexibility with your time, and the set you have available for the scope of things you can do is you and your knowledge, in this case, me, portfolio of my networks. So I have a lot of contacts. I know a lot of people. I can imagine what kind of experiences they could share with others. And well, of course, I have my communication skills and all the other things I have learned during the 20 years of my career. So there is quite a huge scope I could work with. So this is the reason why I wanted to, kind of repeat what I was talking about in the previous video. And again, bring those project management concepts more into real life so that you can imagine them better once you will get in this situation. So at the moment, I have also my project management triangle for this YouTube project, and on the go, I will share more steps with you. So again, when I refer to my previous video, this new video is going to be a deliverable. I am going to share my ideas by means of this video. So next time when you think about projects, you just need to imagine that there will be lots of outputs, knowledge, new ideas, but you always need to turn them into something that is possible to deliver to someone else. In this case, I'm using the media of video and the channel of YouTube. So this is a short introduction, and let's go to the topic of today, which is going to be introduction to project writing. And I would start with introducing some of the most important concepts you will come across at the beginning, and some people still struggle with: excellence, implementation, and impact. Well, actually, as you see in my introduction, I used also and other weird words, but sometimes we struggle with what these words mean and what is the difference between them. So based on the email, which I have mentioned at the beginning, I thought that today I am going to focus on the word impact. But before I will do this, I will explain the difference between the three of them. And in the next part of the video, I will explain on the example of this subscription and the email I mentioned at the beginning, how you can empower yourself with knowledge that is necessary to think well about your project impact. So this is the objective of today's video. Again, sorry for any English mistakes. As you know, I'm not a native speaker, and even if I have done in my past a lot to become a better English speaker, there would be always some kind of mistake. So hopefully you can understand me. Based on my previous experience, people usually could understand my English. So I hope we can now go on and talk about excellence, impact, and implementation. So this is the email I mentioned. So I subscribed ages ago to this science and business webpage, and every week they send me their kind of brief overview of news. This is absolutely wonderful tool. And this is actually the resource where I, for example, got the information that the draft work programs are already available. They made them available. So for me as a consultant, there is a huge amount of valuable information on this web page. Plus, of course, for you as a researcher, it is the same. You simply understand better the environment where research is at the moment, what happens in the world that affects the world of research. And just, it's like reading news or reading a newspaper, a magazine. So once in a week, you just check the headlines and you see what happens around you. So you don't have to, have some kind of conscious effort in searching for this information. Someone else did it for you, and they provide you with some kind of overview. Of course, web pages of the European Commission do kind of similar job, but I always prefer the science and business web page for one simple reason. You know, they have broader outlook to topics. They cover the whole world. They are a little bit more neutral. So they also give critical views on all kind of issues. So I have always been happy with information. Not that, well, what you see on the first front page today is something to be happy about. I mean, I'm happy about their service. They always, you know, within 1 minute, I knew what happens around us. And it's not only the big picture. They, of course, talk about the big news, but then they also talk about, you know, smaller local events, activities, people doing interesting things. So this is something that helps me always to form my thinking about what happens in the society and where research is going towards. So I highly recommend signing or subscribing to their bulletins, because once a week you get this beautiful overview. Well, I know, again, I use the word beautiful and then I see the word war on the screen, but yeah, it's practical overview, so not beautiful. Okay, what happens here? Oh yeah, there is some kind of animation, which obviously doesn't work. So I'm not wait for my wonderful animation in PowerPoint. Obviously, you see the technical hiccups. So I'm learning also what works or what doesn't work before I will master my After Effects skills. But anyway, so the topics for today. What is excellence? What is implementation? And what is impact? And as I said, the highlight of these three is the impact. So let's have a look. This is my scheme, and this scheme obviously will have some animation as well. Haha, lucky me. I'm not going to do it next time because I never know what I place there. But the key, the key feature that distinguishes between these three words when it comes to project writing and project thinking is time. So I will start with excellence, because whatever they call it, whatever the funding agency calls this part of your project, sometimes you might come across state of the art, but most of the times they will ask you about the excellence of your project. And the excellence refers to what is now, what is the state of the art of knowledge now, what is the state of the art of the problem now, and why you are the excellent person or excellent team or excellent institution to work on a problem. So the most important feature of the excellence is the timing before you submit the project. So it's kind of like when you perform a research review for your own research, you also look to what has been done so far and what is the state of the art of the knowledge at the moment in relation to your research topic. So here, when you write a project, this is about the same game. Only if it's the type of project that is not purely scientific, so something that would be financed, for example, from the European Commission, in the excellence section, they will always ask you about kind of broader aspects of this excellence. So not only the research as such, but also, as I said, the team, people, your networks, or whatever. So there are lots of dimensions to this excellence, but what joins all these dimensions is the timing, is the state of art now, before I submit my project. And actually, this is a kind of base for your project solution. So now I know really well how the state of art, how the excellence is. I see in the future what I would like to achieve, what kind of change I would like to achieve. And when I talk about this change and time after my project, I talk actually about impact. What kind of impact I would like to do with my project to the recent situation, to the recent state of art. So by these couple of sentences, I have already introduced relationship between these three words. So excellence is about now and why something needs to be addressed because there is some kind of problem. I always need to see where I would like to move this solution in the future. So it again refers a bit to our project management principles. So in the excellence, you say, okay, this is why something needs to be addressed. There is a problem now. So why I'm doing this project. And you see the change, the future change. And you say in your project, this has to be done in order to address this problem, sorry. So it in the future is the impact you want to make by your project. And then the situation in between, what needs to be done and how you will do it, this is the actual implementation of your project. But in the project proposal, you will always, or most of the times, I would say 85% out of 100, talk about excellence, implementation, and impact. There are some types of projects when they will ask you only about excellence and implementation. Sometimes in some experimental types of projects, they will only ask you either about results or about your excellence. But this is not a topic for today. Today, I want to focus just on excellence, implementation, and impact. In future, I will focus a lot on implementation, but what you need to understand is this. The implementation will always reflect the excellence, the state of the art, and your vision for future, the impact. So unless you clearly define what is the change you want to achieve, what is the objective of your project, you can't plan your implementation well. So once you do the state of art, of course, before I start to write any project, you already have some ideas, but to understand your ideas better and kind of settle them into the situation of the society, of you. It might be you as a PhD student and I just apply for funding at the university. So in this case, I just need to look at the nearest surroundings at least, and based on this I define my excellence. So actually I will talk about excellence a lot in my future video. Again, I need to keep my own mind focused so that I will really talk about impact today. So excellence now. Implementation is going to be the period of your project. So you implementing the tasks you decided to implement in order to achieve your objective. And once your objective is achieved, this is the moment when impact of your project starts. So this is important. But another crucial thing is that within the implementation, you again make a kind of, like a good soil for your objective to grow further. So if, for example, say, my objective is to provide researchers with soft skills training that is available online for free and has a good quality, for example. So I defined now online my objective. That's an example. So yeah, the fact that I create my videos doesn't mean that I achieved my impact. I need to include other activities on the way towards achieving my impact. And these other activities, in the case of video, so you see, I said that I'm going to use this YouTube channel a lot as an example. So these other tasks might be related to communication, because the fact that I produce something still doesn't mean that this product is number one, at the quality that needs to be for the target audience. That's the first thing. And the second thing is the target audience, in my case, early stage researchers, needs to be aware of the fact that this product exists. So as you see, I need to include in my implementation activities, also I would call them communication or networking activities, things or actions that I do in order to share the information about this YouTube channel, to promote it to people. So this is the logic that you always need to keep in mind whenever you start to talk about impact, that whatever you declare will be the impact of achieving your objective, you make it trustworthy. by including specific tasks related to this possible impact already to your implementation. Well, and now it was again big, and I don't know if I expressed it clearly, but I tried, and probably I will again return to these concepts over and over again in my future videos. Yeah, because it's really challenging to explain something that is very complex in clear words. And as I said, well, I could be spending days and days by trying to polish my presentations and prepare the perfect script, but I will never, release anything out before probably the end of June. I know myself, I'm perfectionist. So I thought, okay, let's give it a go. So this was the basic, I hope it was the basic explanation of the difference between excellence, implementation, and impact, the time. So excellence is now before your project started. This is actually also the reason why I have those red triangles here. So the excellence is anything that you can still somehow kind of, number one, describe or even choose. So talking about, for example, the quality of your team, or talking about the quality of your consortium or your institution, you can choose with whom you are going to implement this project solution based on the problem you have defined. So quite frequently, you have the option to form your excellence in terms of the potential, showing the potential, or even obtaining the potential to solve the problem. So that's the reason actually why they ask you in projects about project team or your CV. In your CV or in the description of your project team, you talk about the excellence. So again, it's such a waste of time if people just, summarize everything they have done so far and they think, okay, I filled it in. I'm done with this, with the section. Sorry, that's a big mistake, because you speak about something just by providing this information about your previous experience. You talk about your excellence, about your quality. So be careful about this. Okay, the implementation as such is the actual talk about the project. This is, so between the two red triangle, we have the time when we were selected for funding and we are really actually going to do the tasks and spend the money. So I will talk a lot in the future about money as well, because we write projects in research to get money. Otherwise, if we had enough money, well, why would we write projects? But we live in a world where you need to obtain your own funding in order to perform your research. So, well, sorry to say it, if you want to be successful in your research career, getting money for your research is going to be a big part of your job. So be prepared for that and find your position based on this. Either you want to apply for funding or don't want to apply for funding, but in that case, you again must see the consequences of these decisions. I will talk about all this in some later videos. So, implementation and impact. As I said, well, I will focus on implementation in some future videos, and I think I said a million times already that as I said. So I'm going further, just talking about how to understand a possible impact of your project. And this is where the subscription to this news channel may come as useful. Because just like you might remember last time I did the experiment with the glass, I'm not going to turn it now. I don't know if you see my glass, but this time there is water inside. But whatever you achieve, there are different perspectives how you can look at your achievement. So I'm really not going to turn it, because this time I really would get not mad, but wet. Yeah, so what kind of perspective you should take when you look at your problem, how to argument the impact of what you do. So we could see in past that many people, it's just what happens in society is reflected in possible impact of research. So when the COVID came, suddenly, economy research could see something in the recent situation and how they could help with research results. All kind of other fields could see their role in the situation. Before that, it was a refugees crisis. Again, almost any kind of field I came across, even history and archaeology, started to look at their research and their research results from the perspective of what was moving with the society at the moment. So this is important to understand what is moving, what is happening in the society at the moment. And it helps you both to choose the perspective with which you are going to evaluate the possible impact of your activities, of your research. And it will also, that's another thing which is quite useful, explain you why certain things are happening at the moment also in project financing. That's really important. So this is again the reason why I wanted to introduce you this web page called Science and Business and their newsletter, because it is really, really helpful. So now I'm going further from this basic explanation on what is the difference between excellence, impact, and implementation. And I'm going further to focus just on the external resources that might help us to collect information without too much effort, that will help us when we start to write a project and we need to decide on proper angle with which to look at our impact and how to argument that we are going to create some kind of impact. And then, of course, later on also to decide what kind of activities we need to include in our implementation in order to achieve this impact. So let's now focus only on interesting external resources, which I would like to recommend you as an option, either to get every week in your email for free, without any effort. But if you have time, I have also discovered this interesting service provided by Elsevier. It's a researcher academy. And here they, again, for free, they share a lot of experience provided by experienced researchers and people experienced in specific parts of research activities. So again, you don't risk anything just by trying. And by the way, I was not paid by anyone. I will always share with you only resources which most of the times will be either for free or with obtainable with really low investment, and most of them, all of them, I have always tried out myself in my own career. So that's a kind of like key for now, because none of us have money, so this is something that is for free. So again, if you have a little bit of time, just have a look, search around. Is there something for me that might inspire me? And honestly, not that I spent ages on listening to all this, but here and there, I just when I had time, I looked inside and I got some inspiration as well. So this is a kind of like inspiration source. And this is the Science Business newsletter, which you can subscribe to. Very easy. Again, put into Google Science Business and it will navigate you to their web page. But the most important thing I wanted to share with you today is, for example, this news. Canadian Security Services blocked more than 30 grant proposals. And this is, again, important news, not for the impact, or probably an impact on your career, but when you read this, you can always see what kind of trends are at the moment in project funding. So the next time when you, for example, apply for European project, there is a section in the application which will ask you about security issues related to your project proposal. So now you see that those security issues in Canada led to refusal of some project proposals. So now you understand that, well, it's not only about sharing absolutely everything, but you have to be cautious, because sharing information may be also risky and can cause some severe problems. So next time when you come across a project application and they ask you about security risks, just be aware of this trend in the society. It's not that, kind of easy game these days. We know what the state of the art, the state is, the world is in. So, well, we have to be more careful even with the knowledge. So this is the reason why I highlighted this news. This time it was not the news that directly refers to impact of most of our project proposal, but this is the news that explain us something that happens in the process of submitting our own project proposals. And my experience from past always says that whatever happens at the bigger level, so in the Czech Republic, for example, at the European level, sooner or later will be somehow introduced at the local level as well. So it's always good to be prepared for future trends. Well, and this is the actual web page. As you see, you can see the link to their web. And this is just an example of inspiration you can get from this newsletter. So I got the newsletter, I think a week or 2 weeks ago. You see, 2 weeks ago from 15th February, sorry. And yeah, I came across this interesting news even about what is happening in my own country. So I saw, okay, there is some kind of new interesting forum dedicated to young principal investigators. Already the fact that I hear the word principal investigators, it sounds a bit like European Research Council. It might be related to international collaboration, definitely to the fact that these people might have their own labs. So there's a lot of going just behind words. And this is again something that you will learn in time, practicing and being kind of cautious about what is being said and what is happening around you, because specific words sometimes have very specific meanings, and you need to build in to your brain this kind of sensitivity for words and to understand what words mean. So for me, this had value. When they started to talk about expats, I thought, wow, that's interesting. Let's have a look. By the way, we talk about 5 minutes, not more. So you see that it's not a big investment. And then in 5 minutes, I could find this interesting new project that runs in the Czech Republic. And well, of course, this is in Czech. I think they might have some English version. But for people in the Czech Republic, there is an interesting section in it, which also provides you with information about free positions, well, positions that are available at the moment. So they also give you opportunity to find new jobs. So from the moment that you just got the news about what is happening in research as such, you just, suddenly came across new position, and who knows, there might be something that is interesting for you for the future. So I think this is just to explain you how easily and without too much effort equip yourself for your future thinking about the impact of your project activities, and just showing you that it might, this simple activity might lead you even towards something entirely new, something that you didn't expect before. So I just wanted to kind of help you to embed or get into your daily practices something very easy that might help you to both write good projects and improve your future research career. So I think this is the last slide. Yes, it is. So I would like to end for today. It's still the Friday. I don't know how long I have been talking. I can't see any time. But anyway, it's Friday. It's party time. It's, well, if I was in Holland, I would say let's do the vrijmibo. I don't know what you do with vrijmibo. So I have to ask my Dutch colleague if you do vrijmibo or go for vrijmibo. Well, anyway, so thank you very much for your attention. If you managed to watch it so far, so thank you for your patience. I certainly made a lot of mistakes, but again, I want to keep on going. I promise I will improve, but if I don't post it, if I don't make it, I'm just not going to move further with this YouTube project. So actually, one of the tasks, returning back to the project management, is just to get over this weird feeling of talking to no one, talking just to the camera. So it's one of the tasks. And by practicing, so the activities, or the activity I do in order to work out this problem is. Number one, well, of course, I need to record as much as possible. And number two, I could also do videos without myself. So you see, there is always alternative. So you always need to evaluate what's the best option for the recent situation and for the recent project. And that again refers to the definition of what is project. The first word was, it is a unique process. So it's up to you what kind of processes you mix. And at the moment, I decided that one of the processes is practice, practice, and practice. So thank you very much for your attention. Now I'm going to switch off the video, and I'm going to switch it off just after I will look back into my screen, because I don't want the end of my video to look like, you know, me in the middle of some kind of weird gesture. So anyway, have a wonderful weekend, or whatever day you are going to have after watching this video. And hopefully to see you next time with other topics I'm going to talk about. And one of them, definitely, this was amazing thing about our interview with Katka, will be talking about mind maps and how they can be helpful in you planning whatever project you consider to plan. So anyway, thank you very much for your attention, and see you some other time. Bye.